Hi, welcome to Penny's Doll Diaries. I'm here with Stellynn. She is going to be my little helper today in my topic. So she is resting peacefully on her little Bobby, and she is dressed in her mauve colored sleepers that has little white daisies on it. And she has her little flower silicone passy clip with her honeybug passy. And her little teether is beside her with her little white and yellow muslin lovey. And so she's on her belly with her little feet tucked under her booty. I love her in that position. It's so cute. And then she has her little hands, one intertwined over the other with her little head propped up. And she just looks so sweet. I love my little Stellynn. Oh my goodness. I love this baby so much. So today I want to talk about my new collection style and what that means. And then I'll also want to talk about Stellynn's 3S system that was created by her sculptor, Natalie Scholl. And it's like an extra protection for our dolls that I feel like is going to revolutionize the doll industry. So I'm so glad that you're here today to join me for this topic. So what I'm about to discuss, it's a little bit fascinating, a little bit complex, actually a whole lot complex. So I want to talk about protecting our dolls and like doll collecting as an investment and what roles we play as collectors and artists and sculptors. So as I have mentioned in my previous video when I did Stellyn's details, I have decided for myself personally as a collector, as part of investing in my collection, I am only going to be buying kits that either have the 3S system or they are individually protected by copyright from their sculptor. And so I feel as collectors, we're driven by a lot of things, right? We're driven by our passion for these dolls. We are driven for our love of different things like photography and videography and editing, and it all kind of wraps up and intertwines together in our hobby. So I feel like in the same way that I invest in a good camera phone, a good editing software to deliver the best quality of my videos, I also want to invest that same way into my doll collection. And so y'all know I completely left the Reborn hobby, sold all my Reborns, all my silicones. And at first I thought it was just because I had just lost interest in my dolls. Like, because I wasn't doing anything with them. And when I did, it was like, I was like forcing myself to. Like, okay, I need to go in here and make a video, So after being away from the Reborn hobby and collecting other dolls for a while, about 6 months, I realized what it was. And it was the fact that I felt as if my dolls held no value once they reached my hands. And then I've also talked to other reborning artists that said they were having issues selling their dolls once completed. So I want to talk about that, and I want to talk about Stellyn's 3S system. As I said, that is created by her sculptor. I think it's a very unique and simple way to protect our dolls. So let's start talking about the basics. So like some reborn dolls, like particularly those created by popular sculptors, or maybe they're painted by a popular prototype artist or something like that, or maybe they have unique features like I feel like my Stellynn has, which is the Everleigh Gwen. She doesn't have that usual newborn expression. She has a whole different expression. She's very unique. I just love her. Love everything about this beautiful baby. So like I feel dolls that, fit that criteria, they can definitely, appreciate over time, increase in value. However, there's always a however. I feel it's very important for us to approach our doll collecting as an investment, as an emotional investment and a monetary investment, with a clear understanding of the market. And of course, the risk involved, like, can this doll possibly be copied or whatever, which I know this one can't, but I'm just saying in general, if you're looking at a doll, is this doll copied? Has it been copied? Is it true to its edition? Because one key factor in collecting is rarity. Limited edition dolls, those with unique features and characteristics and all that. I mean, they're very likely to appreciate and value over time. But if they're being copied a whole lot, they're not rare. They're not rare anymore. I mean, even though those are unauthorized copies, it's still a copy of that doll. So ultimately, that can affect the potential value of our dolls. So as collectors, I think we need to be aware that investing in our dolls is not just, it's not a guaranteed return. So it's essential to do your research and understand the market and make informed decisions. I mean, you may want to look and see if there's been copies of that kit. And of course, it's not about investing solely for financial gain. I'm not saying that. But in focusing on a collection that's going to bring me joy and fulfillment and tick off all those boxes, which is the rarity and the limited edition and all those things, it's important that we know what's going on in the market at the time with that particular kit. So that's definitely one role we play in, protecting our collections and making sure that we're making those investments and understanding everything, the risk that's involved. That's one way to do it. But there's another important aspect to consider, and that's the role of sculptors in protecting their work. So for our dolls to hold their collectible value, it's crucial, actually, that sculptors protect their work with the proper copyrights and intellectual property protections. That not only ensures that the artist's work is respected and valued, but it also helps to maintain the doll's provenance and authenticity. So ultimately, when sculptors protect their work, it can help to prevent unauthorized reproductions. Because when there's unauthorized reproductions, it dilutes the value of the doll and it undermines the integrity of the art form entirely. So it's not just about collectors. I know a lot of times it's put on collectors a lot. And yes, I do realize that when the unauthorized copies are out there to buy, collectors are buying them, but collectors are not the only ones buying them. So my question is, does it only matter if collectors buy them, or does it matter if anyone buys them? Because I would think it should matter if anyone buys them, which means we need to stop the source. Stopping the collectors is not going to stop the dolls from being produced, because even if every collector stopped buying unauthorized copies today, there's still going to be grandmas and grandpas and aunts and uncles and moms and dads and little kids who they see our dolls and they go to their family members and they say, "Oh, I want this for my birthday. I want one of these for Christmas." And they're still going to buy them because they don't know. They have no clue about any unauthorized copies and all that. They don't know. So of course they're going to type it in on Amazon or type it in on Google, and they're going to pick the one that costs $69. You know what I mean? So I know that it's been said that without demand, there would be no supply, but it can also be flipped around. Without supply, there's no demand. So yeah, it's not just about the collector supporting the artist, and I truly believe in supporting the artists and sculptors. I'm a firm believer in that. And as collectors, we are investing our hard-earned money into these beautiful works of art, and they're worth it. Yes, absolutely, they're worth it, as long as they retain their value. And that's why we, as collectors, and me, I mean, I'm trying not to speak we as in for everyone, because I'm going to try to say more as like I as a collector, but I know there's other collectors that feel this way because they've told me they do. So like I and other collectors expect a certain level of quality and authenticity and transparency in return. So I feel that sculptors who prioritize copyright protection and provide clear documentation and certification for their doll kits definitely demonstrate a level of commitment to their customers and the value of their art. So I think it's really important that we realize that and that we understand that. And by doing that, they in turn build trust and credibility with their collectors, which can ultimately enhance the value and desirability of their dolls. I mean, that is what enhanced my value. I mean, Natalie Scholl is a wonderful sculptor. I mean, this baby is absolutely phenomenal. But the one thing that drew me into really looking at her sculpts and looking at her dolls was knowing that all of her work is copyright protected, and knowing that this particular baby has the 3S system. So as collectors, we do have a role. We have a role of supporting the artist and all that. But I feel that by supporting artists who I know prioritizes the copyright protection, that I can help build and you can help build a stronger, more sustainable market for the reborn dolls. Because it's kind of, on shaky ground right now. And so this, in turn, can help to ensure our dolls retain their value and remain a cherished part of our collection for years to come. So really, this is like a symbiotic relationship between the sculptors and the collectors. And when you have that, that's going to foster a positive and supportive community. And that's going to benefit everyone involved. Because I just don't feel like what we've been doing is working. Well, I can't say we, because what I'm about to speak about, I'm not involved in this. I am not a tattler. I'm not a screenshotter. I'm not taking pictures of people and saying this person spoke to this person and they have a replica, That is not me. It never will be me. I'm not going to be mean to someone because they have a replica. I'm not going to not speak to someone because they have a replica. I'm not a mean person. I don't have a mean bone in my body. But that's not working anyways. The blacklisting, the kicking people out of groups, the banning people from coming to a doll show or whatever, that is not working. So there's got to be something else that's got to be done. And so I feel like this is the solution to the problem. I want our community to be united again instead of having this great division down the middle. So ultimately, doll sculpting and collecting both requires an investment for both parties. And I do feel that supporting artists and respecting copyrights and focusing on that, we can build a collection that's not only beautiful, but potentially valuable. And who doesn't desire that? I mean, I know I want my collection to be valuable. I mean, yes, of course, it's my collection. It's valuable to me. But you want it to be more than just an emotional investment. You want it to be more than just emotionally valuable. Of course, we want it to retain its overall value. And so I want to talk about the 3S system in a little more detail because, of course, that is what Stellynn has. And so I'll start with the basics of that. So like the 3S system was developed by Natalie Scholl, and it is a system that uses holographic stickers with unique numbers to identify genuine doll kits. So one sticker is placed inside the neck flange of the head, while the other is on the certificate of authenticity. And Natalie Scholl actually has a video on YouTube that I will link in my description box where she is talking about how this works. But I just kind of want to talk about it here in my video too. So I feel like it's a simple but effective system that ensures that each kit can be verified as authentic. So like it's very important that we as collectors and also artists out there keep that unique number confidential so that it prevents unauthorized reproduction or tampering. So like when you're sharing photos or videos of your dolls, always take care to cover those numbers on that COA. Because I've seen so many people wave it around in front of a camera and I'm like, don't do that. You're not supposed to show that. Because this protects the integrity of the system and it ensures that the doll remains authentic. So like there's 3 ways to verify. That's why it's called the 3S system, I assume. That the kit is authentic. First, there's the sticker in the head, and that will always match the sticker on the COA. Also, there's a QR code that can be sent to the sculptor who can then scan it, and then they can confirm the kit's legitimacy. So, each sculptor who adopts the 3S system also has to present that they have the proper copyright certificate that protects their work. So that is what is going to keep the 3S system working, because the people who have the system have to present documentation that they have their work protected. So as collectors, I feel it's essential that we prioritize authenticity. So by supporting sculptors who adopt the 3S system, we're investing in that system as well. And then that will begin to build trust and integrity in the community between collectors and artists. And I mean, it'll just ensure that we're all working together to promote the beauty and value of our dolls. So ultimately, the potential impact that the 3S system can have on the reborn doll industry is significant, in my opinion. I mean, I feel that by adopting this technology, sculptors can protect their work and reputation, while collectors can feel confident with their purchases. And I feel as more sculptors join the 3S system, we can expect to see a major shift in the reborn doll industry. I really do. So, what can we do to support the 3S system? Well, we can start by spreading word about the innovative technology, because that's what I feel like it is. And we can start by encouraging other sculptors to adopt it. So this is me right now, right here, encouraging other sculptors to adopt this system, because I feel like it is the best thing going to protect your work. And in turn, I feel like that having this system, the fact that Natalie Scholl created this system and then people adopting, other sculptors adopting this system, I feel like it's the perfect demonstration of commitment to authenticity and quality in our reborn doll industry. I really, really do. I mean, I just feel like the 3S system is groundbreaking in the development of the reborn doll industry. So, Yeah, by providing a secure way to verify authenticity, it just helps to build that trust and that credibility between collectors and artists. And I just believe that this system has the potential to just revolutionize the way we collect and trade reborn dolls. And I'm excited to see its impact in the years to come, because I really think it's a wonderful system. And so I want to share a little bit about what happened. And I know you're just looking at my Stellynn just laying there on a boppy, so it's probably kind of boring just looking at this one doll for this whole thing. But I actually got out of collecting for a few months. I sold every single doll that I had and started collecting other types of dolls. And at first, I was just thinking that it was because I had just lost interest in the reborn hobby. And, I have new grandbabies, and particularly one that I get to spend a whole lot of time with. And I enjoy being his grandma so much. I'm his Lala. And I just enjoy it so much. I wasn't getting the same fulfillment out of my dolls. And that's what I thought the whole thing was about. But the catalyst was the fact that my collection just lost its value. So that is why, in coming back into collecting reborns and adding them back into my collection along with my other dolls, I have Masterpiece dolls, I have Blythe dolls, I have OB11 dolls, I have Palorena dolls, I have Kennedy and Friends dolls, and I also have some vintage dolls that I've just recently started collecting. But anyways, in adding those back into my collection, under my stipulations that I feel protects me as a collector, has rekindled and re-sparked or reignited my love for the reborn dolls. So it didn't really have anything to do with anything else. I just thought it did. What it had to do with was what I just stated. So that's all about Stellynn's 3S system. And this is me making a plea for more sculptors to adopt this system, because I think it's a wonderful system and it can work. It can definitely work. And this is also me pledging to support sculptors who I know have protected their work, have the proper copyrights. And the way I'm going to know that for sure is if I can go on AliExpress and I can find their kits. Because I don't want to invest a bunch of money into a doll that I'm thinking is going to be true to its edition and retain its value, when it's going to turn around and have thousands and thousands and thousands of copies of it. And that's my right as a collector, so I am exercising that right. So it's getting late and I'm going to get off of here. I'm going to close this video. So I hope that you end your day with love in your heart and a smile on your face. And I'll see you next time. Hugs and love.